The show rolls on to Happy Valley on Wednesday night for 8 races in the city. We've got a couple of races covered here. Very warm welcome to Racing to Win. I'm Andrew Jones. Please say I'm joined by our four-man list in Paul Alley and race caller Mark McNamara as well. And Mark, coming off a big weekend, which we'll talk about in a second. What are we looking forward to Wednesday night? It's
a really open program at the Valley on Wednesday night. Hello to you, Andrew, and everybody. A lot of chances in most races, a couple of Class 5s as well. And we finish off with a Class 2 event, but I don't think we'll see any odds-on favourites.
All right, we'll find out in due course. Jackpots, Paul, you got any of those?
No, there's no jackpots as well. So all the money was won on Wednesday night last week at Happy Valley. But as Mark said, there's some really good open races throughout the card. A few horses resuming, as you can imagine, with only one meeting of the season at Happy Valley. So there's going to be a few surprises, I think, throughout the card.
All right, we'll find, hopefully we can find those as we go along as well. Coming off a big weekend, Blake Shin with 4 winners, that was fantastic, but overshadowed somewhat, Mark, by Zach Burton riding 1300.
Yeah, 1300. He got to 1301 with My Sugar winning the last of the day. An amazing strike rate, 16% win, Paul, and the way he's riding, he'll be well over 1,400 by the end of this season.
Yeah, exactly. And look, all the signs there for a really good season for them, aren't they? He started off really well. He's really positive. All the interviews he's done and in the press as well. So I think he's going to be in for a good season.
We actually caught up with Zach last week, and you'll see this full interview on Hong Kong Direct on Friday as well. But I asked Zach about his motivation coming into the season ahead.
I think when you first come, you're begging for a ride, right? You're just struggling to get an opportunity anywhere you can. So it takes a bit of time to build up the contacts and get momentum and until you can get yourself in a position where you can start challenging for the premiership. So that could take a couple of years, it could take 5 or 6 years, but you're continually just building up for that moment towards that. So that in itself is motivation early on in those few years. Then obviously when you get to the top, you then get to ride the best horses as well, so that keeps you motivated. But as far as coming back every season, it's just put your head down, work hard, try and maintain the relationships that you've got. And in Hong Kong, you're only ever as good as your last ride, so you can never let your standard drop. As you know, the media here and the fans alike around Hong Kong are very critical. So you've got to maintain your consistency all the time, and I think that's a motivation in itself.
Well, you just saw from those stats that the figures are outstanding at 16% over 15 years, basically. It'll keep rolling on Wednesday night?
I think it will. He's got an amazing book of rides. And look, Paul, not going to suggest he can ride the program, but every ride on Wednesday night is a legitimate winning chance.
Yeah, well, we see that quite a lot, don't we? With his rides, he does get some good horses. Sometimes, there's a couple of ones that you sort of shake your head at, but then they run really well. And just looking through that book of rides, I'd be surprised he didn't come back with 2 or 3 winners.
Yep. Finishing off with Grateful Heart there in the last as well. It was last year's DBS Manulife Challenge winner. He's first up. Be interesting to see what he can do.
Trial was excellent. We'll see it soon, I'm sure.
All right, we'll be looking at that race. One of the 2 races that we're looking at today on Racing to Win. Not forgetting you'll see a complete rundown of all races on the website. But this is meeting number 4 we're up to already. We're on the C course as well for Wednesday night's programme. The feature race, or the trophy race, is the Hong Kong Country Club Challenge Cup, comes up as race number 6. But we're looking at the 2 final events, Class 3 over the 1200 and the last, which is Class 2 over the 1200 metres. And that is the race that Grateful Heart is going around. And of course, line up for race number 7 though first. Field is headed by Simply Fluke. Jerry Chow's got a good record on this horse, takes £5 off his back. The 4-time course and distance winner. Ala King, 2 times he's won course and distance. He's won fresh up as well in the past. Bright Kid, course and distance winner. Another horse with a good fresh up record for Chris So and Jack Wong. Me Energy, course and distance winner. Triple. Likewise, Colonel comes up in class, placed on his last 2 starts last season. He'll jump from barrier number 3 and then down to Lincoln Bright, who's second up for the season. He came out on the opening day over the 1400 metres at Sha Tin. Right, so we'll get into the speed map first for this first event. It's saying good to slow, Mark. What are we thinking here?
I actually thought it'd be more good, maybe even to fast, Paul. I know Colonel's down to lead, but Triple. He's got a wide draw. He's shown plenty of early speed in the past, so I thought he might go up and match him as well. Maybe have a look for the lead. Ala King is the other horse who's led up in a trial up at Chungfa, so they've ridden him more positively recently as well.
Yeah, they might change the tactics with him. He's got a really good turn of foot, Ala King, so we'll see where he does end up. But Colonel was plagued by bad draws last season and still managed to work to the lead, so I think he looks like he will be the likely leader, and Stoicism should get a nice run just in behind as well.
And the other one there is Exuberant. He was very good when he managed to get handy and race with some luck at Happy Valley. So he's got barrier number 7. If Karras can get across with Colonel drawn in 3, unlikely going to lead, but he could be a spot or two closer.
All right, so some possible variations there as far as the speed map is concerned. Simply Fluke, though, he likes to get back and flash shown. Let's find out how he's been with trainer Douglas White.
Douglas, you had Simply Fluke absolutely flying at the back end of last season. He left in good form. How's he come back?
He seems to have started off where he left off. His trial in Chungfa 10 days ago was as good as it's been. The key to him is that he's mentally he's in a good space. You know, he came very fragile and he did a lot of things wrong, besides not being able to gallop on the big track and being very difficult to handle. He seems to have adapted, and I think that's the main key to him.
You've got Jerry on taking a £5 claim. He gets on really well with Jerry too.
Yeah, his last performance was probably his best performance. He was slightly slow away, and because of the bad gate, and he went back to last, and he cut the corner, and he seemed to let down and accelerate well. There was a bit of a cut in the ground that evening, but having said that, Jerry seems to get on well with him, and I think that's the way to ride him.
Looking at the field this week, there's a lot of early pace. Your eyes must have lit up when you saw that.
Yeah, the faster the better for him. He is a horse that can get on the bridle, but he wants to go to sleep, and he wants to attack late, and hopefully they'll attack each other early, and he'll be there at the end.
It's Tuesday morning now. We're doing this interview. Russian Emperor's trialled an hour or two ago. Were you happy with what he did?
I was. He was just there to have a hit out. He obviously hasn't been on the track for a while. He's done a lot of steady, progressive work. He's been gelded. So he blew the cobwebs out. Jerry was very complimentary of the way he was striding, and he wasn't there to win the trial by any means, but he certainly held his own.
What's the early plan for him?
Probably kick off on the 26th. There's a 1400. It's going to be a touch short for him, but you know, he has to get to the races. He has to get competitive again, and then we'll head into the bigger, better things after that.
Yeah, looking forward to him returning. Looking forward to seeing what Simply Fluke can do as well. Off top weight minus Jerry Chow's £5, which he's not too far away from losing. Next up, we can have a look at Paul Exuberant and Triple Triple, who finishes a bit further back.
Yeah, look, Triple Triple hasn't got a good fresh up record when you look at it on paper, but his first run ever in Hong Kong, he probably should have won it. He was chopped up and ended up running last, so I wouldn't be too worried about looking at that if you're looking at the best stats. He hit the line nice enough, and Exuberant, he really came into his own at the back end of last season.
He was a horse that raced without a whole lot of luck, Exuberant. He's overdue for some. If he gets it, I think he's the one to beat.
All right, well, we can have another look at him again. We might be able to underline that point here, Mark, then, was this is him in winning form.
Yeah, this was the win in race 647 last season. It was Class 4, so he's up in grade for the second time, Paul. That third was in Class 3 for his first go. He's had a trial. He raced very wide in that trial behind Grateful Heart, but he is a horse with plenty of ability, but just luckless. Yeah,
it has been a bit unlucky, as you said. And look, the stables started off the season, Danny Shum, very well this season. So, look, it was a nice, strong win from him. It's just whether he can now win in Class 3.
Yeah, we're starting to see a few horses having their second starts for the campaign, but we're still seeing most of the runners hitting the track for the first time, including Ala King and Bright Kid, Paul, who's got a pretty good fresh-up record.
He's got a really good fresh-up record, Bright Kid. He's drawn 11. He's probably going to just get a little bit further back. He's won twice fresh in the past. I don't mind Ala King, though. I think he's got a really good turn of foot, this horse. This was quite a soft trial, so they went forward. But from barrier 8, there's options there for him because he can finish over the top. We saw that last season.
I didn't have him in, but it's quite a strong trial because that's Proud Dragon till he's outside. Power kept fourth on the rail, which flew home at Sha Tin on the weekend. And I think the 1200's a bit short with Bright Kid being sus at the start too.
It's over 60 to 1 though at the moment, Bright Kid. What about Colonel Mark from barrier 3? We saw the speed map, should get out in front, and maybe that's where he stays.
He's had 2 trials. I know Paul's more keen on him than I am. I just can't catch him, Colonel, so he's just on my list of I just can't catch.
No, he's only won the twice, as you mentioned, from 20, and look, he's been beaten as $1 1.4 favourite before. So, look, he has got his kinks, his horse. But, look, he did come quite good towards the back end of last season, and he didn't have any luck with the draws.
But he has this time round. At this stage, though, it's a double figure price, 11 and 3.7. What do you think?
Yes, I put him in. I put him in as a Quinella horse, in fact. I'm going to go with Arlo King. I just like the turn of foot from this horse. I think he's quite progressive. He's won twice so far from his starts. He's on top to beat Colonel. Simply Fluke just keeps getting better and better. He surprises me. I thought he'd reach the top of the mountain, but look, we heard from Douglas here before. And then Mig Energy in there for fourth. He's another one who's been working well, but another one who doesn't win out of turn. He's only won one from the 21 starts. 4, 9, 1 and 6 in the end.
Gone for the 10 Exuberant. He's drawn out in barrier number 7. Just hoping Karras can slot him in and he doesn't get caught 3 wide. He's just one of those horses, no matter who rides him, he more often than not finds that bad luck. But he's overdue first up for some luck. So 10 on top to beat number 1, Simply Fluke. Absolutely flying. That was Larson and Brilliant Fortune around him in that trial up at Chungfa that we saw from Simply Fluke. But he does have to carry an extra 10 pounds. Classic POSH, a ride for Zach Purton. Wide draw, not great in this grade, but he does race well fresh. And triple. 10, 1, 2 and 7.
I'm a little bit more in Paul's camp than yours there, Mark. I got the 9 and 4 as my cue there in race number 7. Class 3 there over the 1,200 metres. Up next, we're looking at the last race. Really good Class 2 contest, plus all the best bets. That's still to come. We're at Happy Valley on Wednesday night in the heart of Hong Kong for Racing to Win today. Looking ahead to the final race on the programme, race number 8, which is a Class 2 contest. This is over the 1,200 metres with Grateful Heart and Handsome Bobo. Both dropping in class, both like to roll forward. They've both drawn on the wider side. Harmony and Rich should go forward type as well. Matthew Chadwick's ridden this horse 3 times. He's won on each occasion. Scores of fun, unbeaten, 2 from 2. First up, good course and distance record as well. Amazing plus 1+. Might be looking a bit further. And Manstar and Sight Success both coming up in class. Manstar on a hat-trick, but his 2 previous wins came on the all-weather. Now, as far as the speed map is concerned for this final event, 1,200 metres. We're saying good to slow again, Mark, in the early stages. What are our thoughts here?
I thought more good than slow here, Andrew. Harmony and Rich flies along. Handsome Bobo. He was sus in a recent trial in the barriers. We'll see that soon. Sight Success led up in a recent trial too. He's got barrier number 11 to overcome here, Paul, but I thought they'd be flying along up front here.
Yeah, I think he wouldn't want to sit 3 wide, so he's likely to try and push it, but if he does, as you say, it's going to inject that extra pace. Same with Grateful Heart, another one who does like to go forward there as well. I thought whatever happens, Scores of Fun will get a nice run. Igniting, we saw him lead last season as well. So look, there are alternatives here.
Yeah, he's got his best races on the pace, Igniting too, but up in Class 2. I thought his trial was only fair, however.
All right, OK. So again, possible for some variation as far as the speed is concerned. We'll have a look at some of the runners in a moment. Let's start off with our current favourite at this stage. That's Loving a Boom with trainer Richard Gibson.
Richard, Loving a Boom. Have you trained many more consistent horses than him?
Yeah, true. He's become a real favourite amongst the fans. We get lots of messages about him. And he's been very consistent the last 2 seasons at the Valley, and yeah, we're lucky to train horses like this.
He seems to be a horse that it doesn't matter if the pace is fast or slow. He just runs on well every week.
Well, yeah, and he's got a very distinctive style of running. He's got to come off the speed, and that's why he hasn't won many races. Everything's got to go right for him at the Valley, for him to be able to produce his good turn of speed at the right moment.
No trials this time in. Are you happy with where he's at?
Yeah, he's a year older. He ran at the back end of last year, so he did nice turf the other day, and I'm happy with his shape.
Looks to be a lot of speed in the race too, so that's a really good thing for you.
Yeah, it does, and we've got a bit of a better draw. But, I just see he's at the highest rating he's ever been in his career. He's a year older. He's had a lot of races. It doesn't get easier for these horses.
How's the stable shaping up for the current season? You went so close with Heart Conquered last Wednesday night.
Yeah, he's probably been our most interesting runner so far of the season. And we've got a lot of youngsters in this year. So I just think we'll have a decent second half.
Can't let you go. Wellington, the stable star, where's he at the moment?
Yeah, very happy with him. He did his first turf jump out on Monday, and I was happy with him. And he'll be trialling in Happy Valley in a week's time.
You looked after him last season, raced him sparingly. Will that be likely the plan again?
No, he'll run his 2 races before the big one and try and get him ready for December.
Yeah, looking forward to him returning, looking forward to Loving a Boom. Richard mentioning about his rating, what that means is now he's carrying a lightweight in Class 2 instead of the big weight in Class 3.
And he's just so consistent. We've seen him every week, Paul, he gets back and charges home. He's a multiplayer's delight.
Yep, he's definitely hard to leave out of those exotics, isn't he? He always runs a race for you.
And talking of the fans as well, I'm driving the bus onto the fan club bus on Wednesday night for Loving a Boom, so feel free to jump on board. Here he is. This was the final race of the season. At Happy Valley, Sparkling Dragon ultimately wins it. Loving a Boom in second place. The other horses to look out for, we got Igniting just on his inside. Amazing 1+ here, and Golden Dash out wide, Mark.
We have. I thought the one to take out if he was Loving a Boom. I've got him in the selections for sure. Had him in for third because he's only won 1 from 30, but there's 14 or 13 placings next to his name. Didn't really like the trial from Igniting, Paul. Quite like him as a horse, but just thought he was only fair at the trials.
He was. Look, he's come out and had a good gallop since then, though, so I'm going to overlook that trial and just put it down to a bad day. So, look, he's in the for me as well, but you're right about Loving a Boom. He's in there, goes in as well.
Yeah, just for a moment, sort of got stuck, go inside and outside of Igniting. I'm not saying it necessarily cost him the win, but it definitely cost him a little bit of momentum there. We'll keep moving, though. This is Grateful Heart. The big weight on his back, but he's carrying that for a reason, Paul.
Yeah, he won the Manulife Challenge DBS last season. The horse is trialled nicely here. The big weight and the wide draw, that's a question mark, but he's just such an honest horse. So, look, I had to put him in as well.
I love the trial. I know he doesn't race well fresh up as a rule. He's had 4 goes fresh for 1/4, the best of them. And he's only beaten Honest Way, who has trialled well a couple of times in, but it's the way he did it. Pricked the ears, hard held, and love the trial.
Yeah, Zach's on board as well. He's ridden him 7 times for 3 wins, so you have to respect that. Now, we're also at the trials here to have a look at Handsome Bobo. Now, he's in barrier 4, so keep an eye on there. You'll just see his big white face underneath, and as we roll it, Mark, you'll see they're just getting a little bit stirred up, and the start's really key for him because he likes to get out and get rolling.
He does indeed, and he was really fractious trying to get into the gates too. Actually begins okay, Paul, but he is a bit of a ticking time bomb when it comes to these starts. His trial after this, he ends up running second in it, but he's won first up, so there's a lot in his favour. That's Beauty Smile, who's a well-credentialed horse down on the inside. Just those starts.
Yeah, that's the little query. I thought the draw as well, barrier number 9, there was a lot of pace underneath him, and he is a horse that does like to get out and get rolling as well. As you say, he has won fresh in the past, this horse, but that was just a little query I had, was where he's going to be in the run.
He won 3 times last season, though, a couple of minor spots as well, so he's had a good campaign, and it may well be he's come back fresh and ready to go once more. Matthew Poon will jump on board. We're at the trials once more, and this is one of the horses, Paul, that we mentioned might be potentially involved in the speed as well in some shape or form in Sight Success.
Yeah, no, it's just a draw. Another one who's drawn really badly here. We saw a stablemate Trader who was 3 wide the whole way in the last race on opening day. I think this horse could get a similar sort of run. It just sort of worries me where he's going to be. Joe Moreira aboard, but he's got barrier 11 to contend with, and look, that's why he was just on the cusp, but I put other runners in the end.
He has won first up too, but barrier 11 makes it tricky. Showed plenty of early speed in that trial. He was beaten by Treasure of Field, who's a lower rated horse. Had him in for 4th, and then Paul started going on and on about Scores of Fun, so he twisted my arm to put Scores of Fun in the top 4.
Right. He's shorter priced than Scores of Fun at this stage, but there you go. At this moment in time, then our favourite is Paul, Loving a Boom.
Yeah, look, I think this is quite an open race for these sprinters. So I'm going to go with the outside of the field, which is Scores of Fun. He's currently at the outside. I don't think he'll start near that price, but he's 2 from 2, fresh up this horse. He's got a good course and distance record, and he should get a nice run from his draw. I think there's a bit of pace in. So happy to take a chance with him at a bit of a price. Grateful Heart in there for second. That was a good trial. We'll give Igniting another chance, and the consistent Loving a Boom. So he ended up with 7, 1, 6 and 10. We're happy to go each way the 7.
Gone the one Grateful Heart on his trial. Great record Zach has on the horse. As long as he can overcome that poor first up record, he did more than enough on that all-weather trial track to win race number 8. He's on top. Handsome Bobo's a first up winner. Nothing wrong with trial form around Beauty Smile either. He's also placed first up. He'll go you a good race with the Matthew Poon taking a couple of pounds off. Matthew's cleared to ride 2 at Happy Valley on Wednesday night after a mishap on Sunday. Loving a Boom is ultra consistent and Scores of Fun because Paul went on and on and on and on about its first up record.
Didn't make it in for me, Scores of Fun, but of course Loving a Boom did. on top as well. I think he can win the last, beating Handsome Bobo. 8 races on the programme though. Paul, what are we thinking?
Well, we're going to have a look at a horse here called Crown Avenue in race 1. He's a horse who's looks second up now. He's already had a run under his belt and he's a really well rated horse. So he's one I'm going for. V Chevalier was a bit unlucky in a couple of his runs last season. He's got a really good fresh up record. He's going to go in there in race number 2. Mr. Arm, I thought downgraded is the key for him. Farfar, I like this horse Farfar. He looked good at the back end of last season. Stormtrooper, one of Zach Purdon's mounts, and Fireball are some of the other ones I do like.
All right, and not forgetting that you can see a preview for each and every race on the website, the audio and video section there. Of those then, Paul, who was the best?
For me, I'm going to go in a horse called Farfar. That he's looked really good in his last couple of starts. Got a good turn of foot, and I think this horse can win. His body weight looks spot on. Just the two wins from the 6 starts. And Scores of Fun, talked about him earlier on. He's a 4-time winner from his 14 starts, and 2 of those wins have been fresh up. Should be a decent price. Wagner Borges aboard. As far as the plays going, we'll do it in race number 6 with Magnificent, Smoothies, and Farfar.
Best bets, sticking with Stormtrooper. He was good to us almost last time in, but he got better and better as a racehorse. He's a big animal. That gets aboard, like the trial from him. Dennis Shipper's had a good start to the season as well. Travel Glory blinkers going for the first time. Meet Joy Trains. Alexi Vidal, like the way he found the line in a recent trial as well. We'll go the QP in race 2. V Chevalier, Seaweed Fortune and Fast Pace on a pretty quick backup, but he does race a whole lot better at Happy Valley than he does at Shartin.
Do you need to ask? No. Loving a Boom. There will be a boom in the last. Alexi Vidal from barrier 5. I think he should get the perfect run and get back on the score sheet. And Water Ledge is about 10 to 1 at this point in time. It's a good price, bit of weight to carry, good fresh up record. Chad Schofield riding for Jimmy Ting. And the play in the last, Handsome Bobo and Harmony Rich adding some value in there with the Loving a Boom in race 8. All right. Just about wraps things up, but looking forward to the Zach Purton interview, Mark, on Friday. You're doing Hong Kong Date Rate this week?
I am indeed, but yeah, can't wait to hear you catching up with Zach and what he's got to say as he's hungry in the new season.
Yeah, look, he looks good, doesn't he? Very positive, and he's started off really well and leading the premiership at this very early stage.
All right, we'll see what we can add to that. I'm sure he will. On Wednesday night, that's the show, though. Thanks for watching. I hope we see you at Happy Valley, and we'll be racing to win.